Today I'm taking a look at the all-new TOVSTO Aegean drone from gearbest.com. Why do they have to give them difficult names? This is a cheap and capable brushless GPS quadcopter. Again, GearBest has sent this to me as a pre-release, so it comes in a blank box. The instructions, however, are really thorough with this one, and it's in good English, so I should be able to give a good idea of its capabilities with this review. It's the size of a DJI Phantom and comes in black only. The quad is pretty premium. It looks to be using the old 2212 900 kV motors found on the Phantom 2 Plus. Visibly, there's not a lot going on with this quadcopter. It is a really clean design. We have the 4 landing legs, of which one of them contains the compass, which generally needs to be as far away from the GPS as possible. On the opposite side of the leg is the 2.4 GHz antenna. The GPS module cannot be seen, similar to the Phantom range. I imagine it's hidden under the canopy somewhere. There's 4 LED lights underneath, as well as an LED on the back that gives out indications. Now bear with me here. Red, yellow and green flashing lights indicates that there is no GPS lock. Green, yellow combination means that the quad is self-checking itself. 2 green flashes followed by a single yellow means that it's calibrating the gyro. This is something that it does before every flight. 2 yellow lights followed by a green means that there is a problem with the GPS, and a solid yellow means that it has a GPS lock and you are ready to fly. If you are not sure on the light status, then take the manual along with you for your first flight. There's no on or off switch with this one, which is a shame. You are given a 2200 mAh 3-cell battery which uses an XT60 connector that powers the quad as soon as it's connected. Let's see what else you get in the box. We have 4 blades with no spares, unfortunately. That seems a bit of an oversight to me. The props are self-locking with the black nuts for the clockwise motors and the silver for the counterclockwise motors. They recommend that you tighten them with your hands, and they have given you a spanner to remove them only. You are given a camera mount to fit your favourite action cam to. It's designed to fit a GoPro 3 or 4. I will add my Yi camera to this one. You need to undo the screw at the top to fit your camera in. They give you some cable ties if your camera is loose. However, the Yi is a bit bigger than the GoPro, so it fits in snug. The plastic of the camera holder does interfere with the Yi lens slightly. To use it properly, you will either have to edit the corner of the footage out or cut the plastic so that it fits better and is not in shot. The mount secures underneath using a non-standard sized vibration dampener. You are given 2 hex screws and 3 different sized Allen keys. You can use the Allen keys to screw in the camera mount. For some reason you are left with 2 extra screws. I don't know if that is for the gimbal perhaps. The drone fits in the box even with the camera mount attached, so I'm not sure why they have left it for you to assemble. Perhaps it's because the instructions advise that they sell a 3-axis gimbal separately. At the time of making this video, I have looked online and I cannot see where you can buy it so far. However, there's a JST connector underneath to power it, as well as a servo pin for its pitch control. If the gimbal is released for this, I will definitely look out for it. You could attach an aftermarket gimbal to it. However, as it's not using a standardized mount, you would have to find another way to attach it. I'm going to fly it with the stock mount to see what the video is like and to see whether the vibration dampener works. In the box we have the charger, which charges the LiPo via the balance port. You can charge a 2-cell or a 3-cell battery at 1.2 amps, which is a little bit higher than usual with these types of chargers. However, the quad's LiPo is 2.2 amps, so it will take some time to charge the battery. I will be using my B6 AC-V2 charger to get the battery charged. Onto the transmitter, which feels very premium in the hands. Unusually, it has its carry handle underneath rather than at the top. It takes 4 AA batteries. There is a blanking plate at the top, which I think is going to be for the FPV version to attach a monitor to. It comes in mode 2 only. Both of the sticks aren't spring-loaded, but as far as I can tell, this quad does have altitude hold. You just have to make sure that the throttle stick is in the middle when in that mode. You have to arm the quad in manual mode. This top right-hand switch has 3 positions. The first is full manual mode, where you will have full control of the quad's height by using the throttle, and there's no GPS hold, so you have full control of all the axes as well. It's not going to stay in one position. However, you do need to have GPS lock for this mode to work still, even though it won't use GPS itself. Mode 2 is GPS position hold and altitude hold. This function is the same as it is on the DJI Phantom, although the Aegean does not have an optical sensor or sonar, so I don't expect it to hold its position as well as a Phantom, but this is much cheaper than a Phantom and still should be respectable. The last mode is Smart Orientation mode. As far as I can see, this is headless mode. I will have to test that out on the flight. I don't like to use that mode, however. I imagine that GPS will still function in this mode as well. We will have to see on the test flight. We have the on and off button at the bottom, and we have a return to home function in the middle. The quad should lift up to 15 meters before it returns home. The button is quite nice. It stays pressed in when you activate it, and when you press it in again, the button returns, which makes it clear what function you are in. The last function is a potentiometer for if you have a gimbal fitted. It looks like it's designed to only control the pitch, which explains why there's only one servo outlet underneath the quad. Finally, to arm the quad, you hold the throttle stick to the bottom right. To disarm, you hold the throttle stick to the bottom left. That's all the functions. There's a couple of limitations with this quad that you cannot amend. The first one is the height limit. It's limited to 100 meters vertically, or 328 feet, which is still respectable. You are also limited distance-wise to 400 meters, which is 1,312 feet. Okay, so let's see how the TOVSTO Aegean performs. Now, I've been stood here for a while because it said in the instructions that this light on the back had to be a solid yellow for it to have GPS lock. At the moment it's showing green and yellow. I have attached my Xiaomi to the front and that is recording, but as this has been flashing like this for a good while, I'm just wondering if it's doing that until you arm it, and then it might go a solid yellow. So let's try that. So I'm in manual mode there. Let's go for an arm. And it's gone solid yellow, the light has. So I'm in manual mode here. Let's take off. Yep, solid yellow light. There's no altitude hold here, so I can completely control the throttle how I like. Beautiful evening here tonight. Got a nice snapshot. Okay. Fly it around a bit in manual mode to see what that camera is recording. Wow, seems really nice and stable. You can see those lights really clear underneath, which is good because I'm going to be relying on that for the LVC. Okay, let's try the GPS hold mode because that's really what everyone wants this thing for. So next switch. Let's see what happens. Seems to be drifting there. We do have altitude hold, but there's no GPS there at all. See it drifting? just drifting like there's no GPS function. See, just drifting forward there. But there's this solid yellow light there. Maybe it's just not got enough satellites to stay in one place. Let's see if there's a difference when I put it into manual mode. Back to altitude hold, and it's definitely drifting. Is there something I'm doing wrong here? Let's give it a bit more time in the air. Oh, it definitely seems to be drifting backwards. The altitude hold works, but no GPS. I'm sure that it said a solid light. A solid yellow light meant that it got GPS. Well, that's a solid green light. Oh, it was green, and then it went yellow. Is it doing anything now? That does not seem to be doing anything. The altitude hold is working though. In there, and it holds its altitude. But it's not holding GPS hold. That light on the back is yellow. Is it yellow or is it green? I don't know. Well, it flies really nice, but I'm not getting any GPS hold at the moment. Maybe I didn't leave it long enough on the ground. Let's see if that headless function works. And see what happens there with the hold. Okay, let's try headless function. Now that's interesting. In headless function, on here, smart orientation, it's holding its GPS hold. So it looks like number 2 is wrong, because look at that, it is now holding. Smart orientation mode, I figured it was headless mode, it's not. That's GPS hold, and that's just altitude hold. Makes sense, but this doesn't make sense. Such a small thing. So I guess then that this isn't going to be orientation mode. So let's yaw it round, and forward, still forward. Forward, still forward. So yes, GPS hold does work. My apologies, although it is labelled wrong on the transmitter, but it does have GPS hold. I was a bit worried that it was like a gimmick and it was going to be using like one key return or something, but no, it does have GPS hold. Those lights as well, the colours of them, it kind of looks like APM. I wonder if it's got APM in there. Let's fly it around a bit, see if I can get some good footage on the Xiaomi. Take it up a bit higher, it's a bit breezy there. So it is limited to 100 meters. So I'm not going to go up that high because I'm just flying this line of sight. But I am going to come to center throttle and see what kind of image that we get. There's so many flies around here. Let's just do a yaw around. Have a look around us. Have to see how that looks when I land. But that vibration dampener looked pretty sturdy to me. So of course this is the Xiaomi camera. It'd probably look more steady with the GoPro, now that I know that the GPS hold works.
I need to try it with a GoPro. But it's staying in its place quite nicely. So, it has a return to home function. Let's see what happens. It's coming backwards. Out of the way flies. It's found its original spot, which is cool. It's a little bit wobbly on the descent. It's gonna land right on top of me. Have I got any control? Oh yeah, so even when it's returning, you've got control. Does that take it out of return to home mode though? No, I don't think it does. It just upset it for a little while. Coming down really slow. Okay, I'm gonna stop that there and hopefully it will stop returning. Yeah, it still came down because I actually had the throttle slightly down. So apparently it should lift itself up to 15 meters if it's low enough when you engage return to home. So let's take it over there, see what happens if we flip it towards ourselves as well. Okay, let's try return to home now. Yep, it does lift up. Doesn't change its orientation though, but that's fine. It's coming home quite quick this time. This thing is working, it's pretty cool. Just don't let that catch you out. This is a pre-release, so maybe they're going to change that, but don't pay any attention to that, it's wrong. Hopefully my Xiaomi's still recording there. So let me try now, take it out of the return to home. Yeah, and it just returns to a hover. Got my throttle slightly up there, so it is drifting. I really like this, you know. I like that it has altitude hold, but it doesn't have a spring-loaded stick. It's kind of nice, because then you can have manual mode too, which I like. So yeah, pretty nice quadcopter this one. Impressed. It'd be good with a gimbal on there. It's not the sportiest. Well, I'm in GPS hold mode though, so you know, what can you say? Let's get a nice high shot. That's full throttle. Still got control. Put the throttle in the middle there. That looks high up to me. I don't really want to go much higher than that line of sight, but I've still got control quite nicely too. Got some high altitude birds there. Don't know if that's gonna come up on the video from the Xiaomi, probably not. That is really cool. And no sign of an LVC yet. Okay, let's bring it down a bit. It's a little bit too high. You can kind of get vertigo, you know, flying these line of sight really high up. I've just dropped the throttle to about 20% and it's coming down. You know, one thing that's really weird about this quadcopter and made me wonder if it had actual GPS on it, there is no compass calibration mode at all. I'm just wondering whether it does that on its startup procedure, just like a small one or something, because otherwise it could be in trouble. But this just seems fine. That's the only reason that made me wonder if it had GPS hold. But you know, I didn't have to calibrate the compass here and no problems. Really nice. See those LEDs, so bright as well, although it is becoming duskier. That's usually when I fly. Still no LVC, so let's keep flying around. Want to check that my Xiaomi is still going. Yeah, looks like it is. Some sheep over there. Let's go say hello to some sheep. I don't think they approve of the drone. No, definitely not. It's a lovely evening here for once. Look at that sunset. I hope it's not glaring the picture too much. Wow, that looks nice. Nice, picturesque. See if I can get a nice snapshot this way. Oh, we've got a beep. So it beeps when the battery is getting low. I like that. Okay. Well, the instructions say to land immediately when it does that, so I need to find a good landing spot. I'm also going to put it into manual mode when I land, just so that I can avoid any sort of grass stalk sticking up. Look at that, really nice landing. I need to disarm it, of course. See there that the props just continue to run slightly, so disarm is that way. Wow, that was pretty good, I have to say. We'll have to see how long the flight time was there. Just gonna stop my Xiaomi. So there you go, that is my review of the TOVSTO Aegean. I really like it. Just don't let this thing catch you out here. For a moment, I thought that it didn't have GPS. Can you see there? Number 2, GPS, position hold, mode, and also altitude hold, and then smart orientation, but it's not. Number 3 is GPS hold and altitude hold, and this one here is just altitude hold. This one is full manual, which is awesome. I got good range out of it. The return to home worked brilliant, so I have no complaints at all. I look forward to seeing if a gimbal is going to come out of this, because I think it would be a really good one. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.